Welcome to the Patricia Joe Grover Show, where we turn believers into achievers. Today, my guest is Nicole Borghi. And let me tell you, she is a podcast host for her Soulful Illumination show on Oneness Talk Radio, and soulful coach, empowering her clients to possess a meaningful relationship with their true self, others, nature, and the spirit world. She assists them in moving forward beyond limiting beliefs, reduces stress and depression, unhealthy habits, and rewiring the brain. Nicole guides clients on how to go within and seek self inquiry to trust forward into a greater self dynamic. She shares life's hacks, simple to integrate into today's fast paced society, taking the teachings of the old society and and traditions and world traditions and moving them into fun, fascination, and real time magical transformation. So, welcome to the show, Nicole.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Patty.
Yeah, it's fantastic because again, you and I do touch on a lot of the same things, but you are and I love the spiritual part of this because that's my belief as well. So fantastic. So um, let me ask you a few questions.
Sure,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right. So how did you arrive at being a healer?
It really started when I was younger. We did healing with my mother. She was doing it was the new age, right? In the 80s, the early 80s, when they did the new agey crystals, and it was kind of fresh and new to a lot of people,
Right.
especially in Silicon Valley. And we did some meditations and we sat together, and the lady said, "Hey, why don't you just hold this little crystal and see what you see? Tell us what you see." So I'm little, I'm about 7 or 8 years old, and I say, "Okay." So I predicted an accident. I predicted the cross
Wow.
streets. I put the buildings down. I knew what car it was. I knew what time it was. I knew exactly what was going to happen. And I didn't feel into it. So I was detached from it because I was a kid just looking in like it was a video. So it was really nothing to me. It was just really this video download that I got. And I just was holding the crystal and I was chatting away, and we went from there. And so I actually met Marcel Vogel, who was the IBM scientist who did the crystal studies.
Right.
And so, yes, crystals are real. Yes, crystals have energy in them. So we all know that. So it's not as woo woo as a lot of people are. We're looking at it for years. And we moved from there and we started doing some haunted houses and going in and kind of clearing and blessing the houses, only we weren't blessing ourselves. And so realizing that as an adult now, coming back into it as a trade, for people to use the healing along with their mental opening and their intuition, it turned in, I learned, hey, I got to protect myself. I got to protect my family. That's most important before I open up to other things.
Right.
And that's part of being empathic. It's kind of like when you walk into a room and you feel other people's feelings, and you kind of take that home, that stress or that angst or that anger from when we go to a gym or shopping or into the office at work. You kind of take that heavy burden of other people with you from the other cubicles. And that was kind of the same thing I found myself in. So you really just got to protect yourself however you do it.
Right, right. And that is amazing. Again, too, crystals are they come and they're formed from energy, just like everything around us is. And some people don't quite make that connection, but that's a fantastic thing. And to be able to know the powers that surround us is fantastic.
Yeah.
Wonderful. So now, right now, coaching in a time of planetary change. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, well, the world is changing whether we like it or not. It's transforming. It's going through its change, and the earth is saying, "Hey, you know what? You guys aren't putting out what you said you wanted." So we all talk about healing the earth. We all talk about saving the planet, and we all talk about being good to our brothers and sisters. What are we really doing?
Right.
You know, it's it doesn't matter to me whether you're going to church or you find your spirituality somewhere else, whether you're reading the Bible or you're in a day-to-day yoga practice. How do you act when you get out of that building? How do you act when you're away from those peers and you're away from the tribe? Are you cutting people off? Are you on the road, and are you paying attention to people in the grocery store? Are you walking through people? Are you on your speakerphone? Those little things, I look at it at the littlest context and say, how are we treating those others around us? It's really being mindful of other people's business and other people's space. And we've kind of forgotten that, to give people that, or to look up off our phone and say hello. There's a time you have to stop and pull to the side, and we all have to take the text from the kid or the boss at work or a client. And that's the time to move to the side and take care of that. But you don't want to stop in front of people. And that's kind of what we do, right? And so that's at the smallest context. And so we've lost it where it's grown so much, where each time we meditate or each time we take care of our family or care for people and do self-care, so we're always filling our cup, each time we do that, we're healing the people around us. And so as we change alchemically, as we transform at a cellular level, we're transforming everybody and everything around us. And so that practice you're in, right? And you want to make sure that you're very mindful of that. Always have that practice, and that helps you heal the earth as well.
Yes.
And that helps. It's just tenfold. It just goes out more and more. So it's not just recycling your cup or your straw. It's everything that you're doing.
Fantastic. And I love it. I love it. I totally agree. Well, that's wonderful. So then connecting that with what's going on in the world today, healing from the mental anguish that so many people are suffering from.
Well, it's really near and dear to my heart, my family and my story, and that's coming together in a book, because I feel I really need to tell the story from a mental health aspect. And if you're closed off spiritually or your intuition is closed off, when you start with that crux, if you're closed off, you're hurting inside. You don't have any type of faith. You don't have any type of guided light. You're not talking to your angels, God, source, or your creator. And so when you close everything off spiritually, you have no faith in anything, and you refuse to go within so you don't go without, you lose. And that joy doesn't come in. You refuse to have that joy in. And coming from a family where there's a history of mental illness, coming into my healing, it's like, okay, where does this really hurt? Where does the depression come from? Where does the anger come from? It comes from not understanding myself and trying to understand other people. You really can't do that, right? How do you teach somebody to ride a bike if you can't ride a bike? And I just thought it was an everyday practice. I didn't understand a mother-father context, right? Or people got along and sat down to have dinner. That just really never happened. We could even get to that part and be mindful in that practice. And if your monkey mind's going all the time, you're not at ease. You can't meditate.
Right.
How do you walk in nature? You don't want to get out of the house. You kind of lock yourself down. And now we are locked down. Now we're forced into that. And that's caused so much more. Everybody's impacted, and there's so much depression and sadness coming in that. And there's a time where, yes, you can still find that ease of mind.
So let me dig a little deeper there, because again, I don't see this changing anytime soon. So can you give, our viewers and listeners, can you give them some tips of things that you would recommend from what you do, or things that you know of to be helpful for them?
Well, sometimes it's just as easy as sitting down in a space that's yours wherever you're at. Sometimes it may be your car, because that's your safe, quiet place. Maybe the park. There's times where, hey, maybe I can just shut the bathroom door and go in there, because my family, I can't really get away from my family right now. So it's just really going in there and just breathing just putting your hand to your heart and just calling that attention to your heart. Because that, the depression and the sadness kind of close that heart. It shells the heart space, and you want to save it. When your heart's closed, your mind is closed, and you can't focus on anything. So it's just taking that time and really just breathing into that, taking 2 or 3 breaths and giving yourself, say, hey, I've only got maybe 30 seconds, but that 30 seconds will evolve into 30 minutes, right? Taking that time and just saying thank you for the things that you do have. Okay, I got a roof over my head. All right, I have some dinner on the table. That grace and that thanks calls the universe to bring more. It's not instant. I wish it was like Bewitched and we can just bring it right here, right? But you'll start to see the other things. What happens is it also causes attention to your brain, and it says, hey, your heart and brain connect, and it starts to say, hey, okay, I can see a few more good things. Right. And then I can see a few more good things. So we're not always saying everything's bad, because you're with partners in pain. And if you're at home stuck with those partners in pain, how can you step away? Where can you get that awareness? And so don't feel the shame or the guilt because you're in that circumstance, but just in the moment, find where you can be happy with it. Where you can be thankful. Okay, I was able to get out of the house, shut the door, and sit in the car for a minute. And it just depends on how it is. And that's coming, from living in through domestic violence in my house, or having a bad moment where that's the only escape is to walk out the door, maybe. And that's okay. Right. Understanding that, have that moment. If you reward yourself in the moment, you'll start rewarding yourself for more, and you'll start opening up. And there's people to call. My information will be up here, and I am always at hand, whether you're call, text, or email. But it's just important to have somebody you can reach out to, and do that when you're ready for that help. Just take a moment, have a cup of tea. What brings joy? What brings comfort? If it's a good cup of tea, if it's, even if it's your Coke in your glass, maybe it's not the most nutritional thing, but it's something that you have, and it's something that you can touch, hold, and feel thankful for. And that's where you start to really just break it down into small little hacks, because in total, there's so much you can do, right? Go to counseling, go to a soulful coaching, go to a discovery call, or do something, but there has to be a moment. But it just takes small steps. Exactly. You can't just leap into it.
Exactly. And right now, that's why I wanted to dig a little more, Nicole, because there's so many people out there in need right now. And again, I don't see this going away anytime soon. So I really, with my show, because again, we turn believers into achievers, and for people to know that they are worthy and they are capable, but there's all the negativity that we're surrounded by that doesn't allow for people to move forward. It's holding them back. And that's why I really wanted to add that into our conversation, because another question I had for you is moving forward, and overcoming that self-sabotage, and so this kind of all ties together. So what are your recommendations for that?
Well, really, self-sabotage is your subconscious trying to stop your pain, and it doesn't want you to see, maybe you're looking for a great, successful relationship. And you've had bad relationships. So you felt the pain or the abandonment, or you felt that nagging or that kind of bickering at the small end. And so your subconscious is trying to stop you from going through that again. It wants to rescue you. Your subconscious wants to be that superhero and rescue you, come on in and rescue you from yourself. If you don't take that step and leap into what would happen if I had a good relationship versus what happens if I have a bad relationship, right? Murphy's Law, if it's going to be bad, it's going to happen. Right. It's going to be unsuccessful for you. But now leap into it. And that's what I like to teach my clients is leap into the feeling of, what if I have this?
Right.
You know, you can do, what does a person look like? What does the person feel like when they hold and hug you? How does it feel to sit with them on a couch and watch a nice movie? How does it feel if we just go, walk through the park? What do you want? But don't, you want to kind of romance it when you're journaling it and spelling it out, right? And you're putting that thought forward. What do you really want? And that's okay. Ask for anything that you want. Put it down. Give yourself that encouragement to start looking for that, and you'll start to see that. And the other thing is what I help with people is kind of looking in that shadow self of the subconscious, where it's, what part do we play in those relationships? Because in every relationship, unfortunately, we're the one that's part of it. And so the common denominator mathematically is you.
Exactly.
What are you doing? And when do you start doing it? Don't, you're going to want it. You're going to work with getting away the guilt and the shame and not be that victim. But you want to understand, if you just detach without really feeling into it, what is this scene, and what are your habits that you do? What are the things that you bring on? And again, it's the sabotage trying to be the superhero and stopping you, but yet it gets a little worse. So once that's clear, and once you come to understanding how to clear it, then you can get to the unicorns and rainbows and the happiness and see where you can be. And that's okay. You want the joy, but we have to kind of clear that.
Exactly. And sometimes, again, it's the smallest things that are standing in our way, and until we take that time to determine what they are, we can't clear them away.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
You want to get those old files out and purge them, right?
Yeah, fantastic. So I'm glad that, we were able to dig deep and get this information out to the viewers. And really, if you guys have any questions for her, reach out to Nicole. So then, because this brings it really into, it all goes down to the smallest things. And when I'm talking the smallest things, I'm talking like healing at that cellular level.
Yeah.
And this is something that, people it's to wrap their head around that it really comes from, things come from within so much more than most people even realize. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So our cells, so if you want to picture it as much as you can, you're looking at your cells, and as your cells develop, they separate and they become two new cells, right? So they're two very new cells. Well, what is the tape that's playing in that old cell? What is that information that's imprinted in that old cell before it splits? So if you have the feeling of, I'm not beautiful, I'm not worthy, I can't get this, or my nutrition is bad, my health will always be bad, I'm always sick, and I'm always at the doctor. Right. Well, those cells will split up, and now you have two bad cells.
Oh, see, there we go.
So
and that's breaking it down to that smallest thing. How much more small can you get than cellular?
Absolutely, right. Because it's like playing the old program. So if I have a Windows 95 and we're at Windows 10 now, if I have that Windows 95, that program is trying to run with the upgraded program, and it just can't compete. Right. So now you've got, let's look at it as you're getting the viruses from the old program. You can't play the video in the old program. So if you look at it and you kind of detach and look outside and say, hey, this is how it works. Now you're going to upgrade. What we're going to do is we're going to upgrade to the program. We're going to get you healthier. And how do we do that? How do we run the beautiful program, and how do we make that program compatible with the old program so we can get rid of the old program and be perfectly in the new program? What you're doing is, as you're programming, is you're taking out all those old files and you're looking for all those old viruses. So we kind of peel you away like an onion. And as we do that, we reprogram those cells. Well, as you meditate or pray and you're coming into your light and you're heightening and you're understanding that, you have different thoughts. And as you get rid of the guilt, as you get rid of the shame, and you start to forgive and you open your heart, now you're in love. Now you're happy with who you are. at the cellular level, at the level of you, at the self. So we're just talking about you as one unit. When you're happier with you, when you're in a healthier mood, when your body's getting maybe just a little bit of water with lemon and you're alkalizing your body every day, maybe that's just the one shift you have. Your cells are now reprogramming. Oh, I like the water. I like the alkalizing. Oh, now we're healthier. Now we like ourselves. Now those the cells split and now they're healthier cells. And so every time those cells go through your body, they're reprogramming to something new. Now that's a transformation at a cellular level. So it's not just the supplements we take. It's not just exercise. It's the mental state. And as that whole package changes, as that whole upgrade changes, now you're working better. Now you're consistently working and you're not shutting down. Now you're not in fatigue. Now you're able to think, oh, yes, I can. And your subconscious is now working for you instead of against you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. People, I hope you're listening to this because, again, looking at what's going on in the world, where can we start? We can start with ourselves. And to change things around, and the more positive you can bring into your body, your mind, your heart, that's where you're going to get your difference and your strength to be able to move forward. Fantastic, Nicole. So glad to have you here and sharing this information. We all need it. Everybody needs it. Every single one of us in today's day and age, because we are bombarded with so much negativity. So what do you have? Do you have any special promotions or gifts for our viewers?
Yeah, definitely. I am speaking in Las Vegas, and I don't want anybody to miss out because maybe you're not in Las Vegas or you can't come personally. So what it is it's called a brunch, and we're having a meeting where we're getting together, and so it's about a 4-hour meeting, and what we're doing is we're doing it as a tribe. And we're focusing with where's your mental state at? How can we connect and clear? And so it's coming together, because the more people that come together in a higher state of mind, the more successful the reprogramming and the changes. And so that's $97 for 4 hours. And so if you want to do that privately, I'm offering that today. Okay. So you can have me for that 4 hours. And just book Nicole and go to illuminatevegas.com. That's illuminatevegas.com, and book that session. Or if you want to know anything else, book a discovery call, which is free. And you can do that on Illuminate Vegas and reach out to me, and we can chat and counsel, how can we kind of approach a new transformation and a change for you.
Fantastic. Everybody, be sure to reach out to Nicole because, again, right now, everybody needs to have that positivity and flowing through your body, and it really will make a difference. Hey, we're getting ready to have 2021 it is coming, so let's feed our souls so that we can make the best 2021. Fantastic. So for everyone, this has been the Patricia Jo Grover Show, where we turn believers into achievers. You can find out more about me at patriciajogrover.com, and I have a little video coming along behind, because if you text the word GOAL, GOAL, to 866-926-4020, I have gifts there for you. So thanks for being with me again, Nicole, and everyone, have a wonderful day.